What is going on, everyone? Today we have a very special roster review. Now, I don't normally do these, and it's been a long time since I've done one of these, but we're going to be doing this today with the almighty one who has offered up his roster for a review from me. Now, for some background for him, he does have roughly $4,600 spent over about 875 days. He is regularly top 5 in the arena rank in his shards since he started his gaming, and he would like some advice on what characters are safe to push for Dark Dimension 5 and any advice on war arrangements. Now, I will say that off the top, we don't know what the requirements are going to be for Dark Dimension 5. This is actually going to be a topic of one of my other videos. I don't think that this is going to be the same for what it has been for Dark Dimension 3 and 4. I think that they're going to want to do something different, and I think that because some of us might be expecting that, not me, but I think other people might be expecting that they might go the same way, that people may end up using their gear or their augmented teal gear on characters, assuming that that's going to be the case. So I would caution everyone that that's probably not going to be the case, and to hold on to your gear until it is confirmed exactly what the requirements for Dark Dimension 5 are going to be. So what we're going to talk about here, we're going to go through his roster from the bottom up, just to take a look at what's going on here with a TCP of 16 million. That is more than me. I think I'm like 14-ish, and I've been playing for hell, 1,200 plus days, so comparatively about a year more than him, and his TCP is higher. But that's what spending can get you, I guess, whereas my spending is probably at the level of like 700 US in 3.5 years. So quite a bit of a difference. Now, strongest team power, we see here with the Infinity Watch is about 903k. That's probably because of level 85 as well. That helps. I think mine are... Actually, no, that's really high. Mine are like 785, I think. And that's level 83. So I imagine at level 85 that my Infinity Watch might be like 820. But this seems pretty high. So we'll take a look as we go through what kind of res stars they have. So we're going to start from the back. Oh, wait, no, sorry. We're going to start from the back here on this one. We're going to take a look at the bottom of his roster and kind of see, well, what kind of res stars do we have? What characters are leveled and what not? And just to take a look at that. So right off the bat, I see a lot of minions, of course. That's pretty normal. A lot of my minions are at the bottom as well. Kingpin, that's normal. Like, why bother? We do have a Koyin and Baku. I imagine that's just enough just to get to Chaos Theory to 3-star. Just enough for them to survive the match while the others do the heavy lifting. Any red stars that kind of shoot out at me? Nothing yet. 5 red Hand Archer. That's kind of neat. The Kree minions, of course. What a terrible thing that you have to do for Nick Fury, isn't it? 6 red Shocker. That's awful. Shocker is the worst member of the Sinister Six. Don't bother with Shocker. A lot of the characters are actually fairly high power. Now, I imagine that a lot of this helps to do with blitz rotations. But even for me, like, most of my characters that I don't use are like, you know, sitting at the 20k or this sort of level. I'm a bit surprised that some of these, or maybe I'm not that surprised, but, you know, given the amount of money spent. But yeah, like 50k seems to be the baseline. 50, 60k seems to be your baseline for some of these like scrub characters that nobody uses anymore. Any red stars that pop out? Nothing. A lot of 4s and 5s, but like, I don't know, where's that 7 hand character? We have a 6 America Chavez. That's kind of interesting. Maybe one day we'll get that Young Avengers rework. Maybe she'll actually be included. I think Squirrel Girl is a shoo-in for that team, but I don't know about America Chavez. Let's move to the second page here. Let's start at... Oh, wait, it's not at the bottom. We'll start... Where... Oh, America Chavez. Okay, so we'll start up here, I guess. This is a weird second shot here. We have Ant-Man. Wow, even the Pimtech is pretty high. Like 66k for Ant-Man? Jeez. I don't know where Wasp was. Wasp must be higher, 68k. A lot of 7-star characters, even for the scrubbier ones. Nothing. No huge red star standouts. I'm actually disappointed so far. We have a tier 13 shield medic. I'd be curious to know where that came from. And shield security, because I think the shields kind of passed their prime, even by the time that you or did this, that I don't think that this would have been too stellar. Tier 13 Juggernaut, that is what it is. Like, I really like Juggernaut. It's just the Brotherhood of kind of not really so great anymore. I wish the Fantastic Four was also a little bit better than they were, but it is what it is as well. Let's jump to the third page. We have 2 more left. Scroll to the bottom here. Okay, this is a real screenshot. Mysterio, 71k. 7 red Hydra Armored Guard. Holy crap. Okay, well, there's your first 7 that I've noticed for someone that's kind of crap, so that's not too great here. We do have a 6 red Stature. Fingers crossed the Stature actually gets a rework for the Young Avengers as well, because she is as Cassie Lang, she is a founding member of the Young Avengers, and so I think there's a good chance that when they decide to revisit this Young Avengers team for real, that they'll actually rework Stature into that team. I would really love that. I actually have a 5 red Stature, but I just really like the Young Avengers, and I would really please just give us a proper Young Avengers. That was the worst thing that Fox Next, I'm gonna say, I think it was Fox Next at the time, that really effed this over in terms of they really butchered the trait, and I don't like it when they butcher it extremely out of the comic lore. Secret Avengers was not good with Miss Marvel and all that shit with Miles. It didn't make any sense at all. We have a 6 red Karnak here. Okay, so sorry, my bad, messed that up. 6 red Karnak, that's a bit unfortunate because he's not very good. 6 red Korath, I wonder if he'll get a rework. Probably not, but you never know. What if we get what if Korath the Pursuer on the Ravagers? Stay tuned. Sif 6 red. Nothing. A 6 red Psylocke. Could be better. Only 3 red Shang-Chi. That's unfortunate. 6 red Storm. I always wanted to do something with Storm to try and see if I could make it work. She does a lot of damage in raids, and actually people used to utilize her in raids prior just to charge her up and then let it rip on her ultimate, get a T4 on the ultimate, 20 charges, and just boom, just like wipe out an entire wave. I would be really curious how well this performs in Doom Raid if you were able to keep her alive long enough, especially with Beast, because if Beast is on the field, he helps heal her as well, but when Beast and Storm are together, Storm actually gets 2 charges every time that she would get 1 charge, so that way she can build it up even quicker. I would love to just drop her into a raid node and just like a boss node for Doom Raid Mutant 1 or 2 and just let it rip and see how much damage it does. I would be very curious. I just don't, now that she's superior Adamantium and Wolverine and Lady Deathstrike are also Adamantium, I just don't think that is something that I want to test out myself, but I really do. I just don't think I'm gonna. I don't know what kind of reward I will get for doing that. Namor 7 red, also really interesting. He's a decent drag and drop character actually for War Offense, but I don't know. Maybe I would. He's mutant geared as well. I don't know if I would maybe consider taking him to gear tier 14, just because you have him at 7 red. There's something about 7 red characters for me, at least non-minions, that kind of make me like, I really want to do it maybe. Other characters, gear tier 13, Merc Soldier, only 4 red. Get that 4th ISO. I wasn't even looking at ISOs, but get that more ready, man. Get that Merc Soldier war ready. Deadpool, Agent Coulson, get that Coulson war ready, maybe. We're scrolling up now. We're getting to about the tier 13 level. 5 red Cap. Vision 6 red. That's unfortunate. Let's hope one day that he actually gets a rework. That would be really good. Crystal. Get Crystal War red. No, I don't know. If you use them in war, maybe it makes sense to get them more ready if you have the spare ISOs. For characters that are basically gear 13 and above, like above the 80, 90k level, it almost makes sense to just get them to the 4th. If you use them, it almost makes sense to get them to that level 4 ISO war ready stage, so that they get buffs and more, and every little bit helps maybe if you're using them. A 7 red Groot, yikes. One day, I guess it'll have to be a rework alongside Rocket, right? Because they're a duo pair that I just don't see separated because of the way that the kit works. So if one gets reworked, they're probably both going to get reworked. And there was a rumor back in the day that they were going to be reworked alongside Star-Lord with was it Nova? Richard Rider Nova. I heard. Now, I don't know if that's ever going to happen. I believe it was Casino that actually mentioned this before he quit Marvel Strike Force. That was one thing that he brought up, but I don't know if that's going to happen. Yeah. What else do we have here? A lot of leveled characters that I don't, of course. Ultron only 1 red. Come on, man. Man, I know a certain content creator who would just smash you for not... You have blue ISO, but you only have 1 red? What's going on with your dark credits? Come on. Come on, right? You know, so get on that. No, I don't know. You don't have to get on that. But you're gear tier 15, 1 red. I'm at 1 red as well, but yeah, I do not use Ultron. I left him at gear tier 14. I did not take him to 15. I just don't use him personally. If you do, then that gives you more reason to get dark credits for him. Other than that, you know, it looks fine, I guess. Prepping some Weapon X here. I see a Wolverine, 110k at the top. Sabretooth's not here, so it looks like he's even higher than that. Let's go to the final screenshot. Where did this chop off? Actually, right here. Sabretooth, right next. 112k, so that's cool. 4 red only, unfortunately. Any big red stars? 6 red She-Hulk. Wow. Would not want to run across that in Alliance War, that's for sure. A 6 red Strife. 6 red Cyclops. Tier 14 Cyclops. Way higher than my Cyclops. But that's some pretty big red stars. I bet his ultimate just hits like a truck. What else do we have here? Pretty normal characters, I would say, you know, around this stage. Red stars, 6 red Punisher. That probably hurts quite a bit on Skilletary, because he is the main damage dealer for that team, of course. 6 red Zemo, 6 red Hela. A lot of 6 reds when you're getting up to this mark, I guess, at this point. 5 red Dagger, that's nice. Very nice. Let's zoom in a bit more. 6 red Taskmaster. I mean, once you get towards the top, I mean, wow, holy shit. A 210k Cap Sam. 209, whatever, close enough. Wow. 200k. I don't think any of my... It's because of the level 85. I was going to say, I don't think any of my characters are that high. My Gamora is about 189k, about 190k, I think. I have a 7 red Gamora, though, so I imagine at level 85 I'm going to get close to this... To imagine that a character has that high of a power, if you throw them onto war, you know, with all those war buffs, you're probably seeing 250k plus per character. Man, that's nuts. That's nuts. I remember you mentioning this. I don't remember, was it a natural pull? I don't remember what kind of orb you pulled this from. Either way, crazy pull. Too bad, I mean, I guess the downside is that when he does become farmable, you know, you've already got him to 7 stars. So on one hand, you know, great. On the other hand, you know, you spent a lot of money to get there, and now when he becomes farmable, you won't be doing anything with that. You don't need to. I guess. I think 6 star would have been a better... There's such a big gap between 6 and 7 star. It almost seems like, you know, I'm not going to criticize how people spend their money, but it does seem like a bit of a waste to me, you know, for 300 shards, 6 to 7 star, you know, to spend money to do that, when, you know, the 300 shards is almost everything that came before it. Almost, you know, like 500 shards to get to... 510 shards, rather, to get to 6 star. 300 represents over half of that. 300 shards is like almost a 5-star character. Anyways, things look pretty good here. Now, in terms of Dark Dimension 5 characters, I'll be honest, you know, I know that it took us a while to get here. Pretty interesting roster, though, I have to say. Pretty big and pretty beefy on certain characters. 7 Red Shuri, I kind of missed over that. Hey, we're 7 Red Shuri brothers, because I have a 7 Red Shuri as well. I need to get her to gear tier 15, I guess, a little bit more. So, yeah, in terms of Dark Dimension 5, I have to say, I don't believe that it's going to be how it was before with 3 and 4. I don't think it's going to be global, cosmic, and city. Personally, I don't think they want it to be that predictable a third time around. That being said, there might still be a legendary component there. So if you are going to get Omega Red, I would say the safest characters would obviously be the newest legendary characters. Would be things like Omega Red, would be like Adam Warlock, and Jubilee. Maybe Doc Ock as well, because of his passive to block off offense down. I think depending on who is in the Dark Dimension 5 nodes, I think that could be really handy. Or maybe not, you know, but either way, I still really like Doc Ock as a character, and I think that he could be useful there. But let's take a look at some of your save squads, because you did send me that over as well. Okay, so we have a screenshot here of some of the save squads, and holy shit, 900k. at the top for Infinity War, and some of these other ones quite interesting as well. So you're using new warriors with Doom and Surfer, and I'll be honest, just right off the bat, I'm probably not the best character to talk about when it comes to war. People who follow my channel know that I don't take war that seriously. I'm not that hardcore when it comes to war, so take my thoughts with a grain of salt. I don't have a lot of experience using the new warriors. I know that you wailed out on them because you told me that so in the Discord, but I don't really have a lot of experience in terms of knowing what they can beat and what they can't beat. So I would be actually curious to hear from you what your experiences are with this team and what you've been able to clear in terms of some of the top war defenses. Can you beat Infinity Watch or Heroes for Hire? I'd be really interested to know about that with this kind of power. You know, could you punch down and beat them either? You know, I don't know. I don't have a lot of experience with these characters, but I do want to test this more in the future now that we have the war practice feature. I would love to test new warriors out with other characters to see how they perform because they're newer. I'd also be interested to see how these perform as well. The Secret Avengers, Nick Fury. You know, I guess you're not fighting anyone else with Kestrel because that would screw over these two characters here, and you're not fighting anything with symbiotes in it. That's for sure. I see a lot of people using the Secret Avengers on the defense, though. I don't know which is better necessarily. Black Order, Symbiotes, X-Factor Namor. Now, I use X-Factor Namor a lot to beat high-level Marauders. Usually works quite well because normally Namor's ultimate has a guaranteed critical hit, which can help as long as they don't have deflex. Shadowland, I am also interested in Shadowland. I'm also interested in Hero Mystics. So you have this team up here. This is Hero Mystic, I guess, but like take out Silver Surfer and Doom and try it with Moon Knight and White Tiger. And what kind of results could you get differently? And the reason why I say that is because there's a lot of debuffs being chucked around. Moon Knight and Cloak and Dagger, I guess with the ultimates, have very similar attacks. However, Moon Knight's ult also clears all positive effects, and then we have an ability block from White Tiger, and I think she might actually go before Deathpool, and so that way Deathpool could spread the ability block, hypothetically, which might replace Silver Surfer, because Silver Surfer also applies an ability block. I would be very curious what that team could do, and that would maybe mean you wouldn't need to necessarily have Doom and Silver Surfer, because if I'm not mistaken, they also give buffs to Hero Mystics, Resistance, and Focus, I think. So Doom is not a hero, of course. Other characters that you have down on here, your Astonishing X-Men is a little bit lower than mine, actually. I have about a 630k. But I'd imagine that you're still performing fine in Doom Raid, otherwise you would have said something. Skeletal, mine's around this stage as well. I have more investment in my Red Guardian is 7-star now, actually. Astonishing X-Men, also the same. A lot of your teams, this is pretty standard, I would say, for a lot of team arrangements. There's certain teams I just don't believe deserves more investment. Characters like X-Force, I don't think that they really need to be. With all the mutant characters that we're getting, I just don't think they're a priority at this point. Inhumans, not a priority. Uncanny X-Men, not a priority. And then you're going to be losing Wolverine, and you're going to have to dump Storm in there, I guess, as a replacement, because that's the really only other choice there. Zemo, I use something called the Hydrardians. Hydrardians. I'm not sure if you've ever seen me use that, but basically it's Zemo, Hela, Loki, Red Skull, and Hydra Grenadier. Now I use those 5, and normally I can punch up quite a bit against other random teams like Mercs, Marauders pre-Sabretooth buff, so I don't know if it would work the same necessarily, but really good war team as well. I don't know what you're using them for. Maybe they're on defense. Probably you might have them on as Guardians for defense, but I think as Guardians just gets chewed up so easily now by symbiotes that it's not worth having them on defense anymore. And you can kind of co-opt Thor into like a Wave 1 Avengers defense team at this point, for what it's worth. And finally, your last screenshot here, let's see, Heroes for Hire, 481. I don't know if it's really worth building them up too much anymore, you know, because of the supposed nerf that we're getting with the Heroes for Hire. Not entirely sure. Let me know what you think about that. Are Heroes for Hire worth investing in beyond like the 500k range? I'm not sure. Obviously, you have star level issues here. Really big Colleen wing though, so that'll be a huge priority for you once you are able to activate that 6 red. Focus on Colleen and Shang-Chi anyways. Unfortunately, you only have 3 red on Shang-Chi. They're the real heavy hitters of the team, and they're the ones who often make the biggest difference rather than these characters. So focus your gear on them anyways. And we found out that the Missing Knights, well, she's getting a change as well. Text clarification. And the Marauders here, you put Sabretooth back on. That's fine. They're actually better now with Sabretooth temporarily while the rest of the Weapon X team comes out. So that's quite interesting. And Doc Ock Sinister Six. Now, this is a team that I really wish that I could build up further, and I might. Now, you're using a Vulture version instead of Rhino. I guess that's for offense purposes. Yeah, Rhino's a weird one, I'll admit. But Electro and Swarm, you should really level them up a bit more. I'm a huge fan of the Sinister Six, and I have no doubts that when the movie comes out with, what's it called, No Way Home, that I think we're going to get some more Sinister Six chargeables, and I think this team is going to get a resurgence. Just you wait. And so I would recommend at least investing in a little bit more in Electro and Swarm because they are the MVPs of this team. Now, carrying on, I see your Asgardians here on a defense. Pretty, I would break this up, and actually I would change up your Hydra, your Baron Zemo team, and change it into the Hydrardians, which I think. So take Loki and Hela out. Basically, Heimdall and Sif just get dumped, and you're not really using them. Thor can be put into a Wave 1 Avengers team here, probably replacing Captain Marvel, or even Hawkeye, to be honest, because you're not using Black Widow anymore. I would actually, you know what, dump Hawkeye, and then put Thor in, and that might make a better war defense team if you're using them there. Anyways, use Hela and Loki and use them in, maybe gear up Loki a little bit more, get him to level 71 for the focus bump. That might really help too for landing that special, even though he does get a little bit of extra focus, and do that. Otherwise, yeah, there's not much you can do with the other teams, to be honest. Pimtech is what it is. I don't really like Pimtech. I don't think they perform all that well, from what I understand, and the rest is just, yeah, not really super great. But anyways, I think that's all I have to say about this. Unfortunately, we didn't really get to Dark Dimension 5 too much because I'm going to be saving that for another video where I'm actually going to be discussing at length about what I think the Dark Dimension 5 requirements are going to be, assuming that they don't announce that before I get to the video. And I want to thank the Almighty One for letting me do this roster review for him, and I hope that maybe you find it a little bit helpful as well, or any of you that watch this video. So until next time, guys, stay safe and healthy, and I will see you all later. Boilon signing out.